doing this to me?
Yoko Sushi.
No
Yoko
worries.
Sushi in charge.
Yoko Sushi. Yoko Sushi, let's go.
Ready to go.
Oh. Good day, people. We are on the road and you are now joining me on the trip to Ferrari Berlin, and we are gonna do a test drive today, and also like it's gonna be a launch event later tonight. So I'm gonna take you with me, so stay tuned and enjoy.
But it's echoing out. My head is heavy and filled up with doubt. I'm holding the phone, but I'm just hearing tone now. Our vibrant skyline, it looks just the same, but deep down I know I'm a whole world away. I'm trying my hardest to be in your stardust.
We should have a stamp here on the left, I'm not sure about all around, not close. Okay. Slowly that way, good. Sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, the battery level is really spoiler.
Yeah. I see it here as well. It goes up.
We got 2 kilometers forward and after.
Yep. So on this day, we did a second test drive for Ferrari Roma, and actually the test drive is kind of like is being done on the day that they're gonna do presentation for Ferrari Roma Spider, which I find quite funny. But the fact is they don't have enough Ferrari Roma Spider for test drive, so the launch is then coupled with people who want to purchase Ferrari Roma or already said they are interested, like me. But it's kind of I don't think that the test drive is actually a good decision from the side of Ferrari. But then again, who would say no for a day with Ferrari Roma, as you already see or is going to see in later in this video about through the footage, that Ferrari Roma is a good car. But I'm gonna give some of my thoughts on the second drive with Ferrari Roma, and how the Ferrari Roma Spider would sell, I guess, because later that night we were invited to a restaurant. Actually, it's near my place for the official launch of Ferrari Roma Spider, and it was actually a really nice night. The food was amazing, the wine not really, but also like a lot of people came, like the customers of Ferrari, I guess, and also some people that have interest on purchasing Ferrari Roma. This is gonna be the first part of the video, so where we're gonna talk about my opinion or my impression after driving Roma for second time. And on the second part, I'm gonna give my opinion about Ferrari Roma Spider, how it will stack up in Ferrari model palettes, and because that car is gonna be replacing Ferrari Portofino M, the one that actually is getting better with time. I guess like now it captures the heart of Ferraristi, but like I think like at the moment people cannot order Ferrari Roma anymore, so it will be replaced with Ferrari Roma Spider. So if you want to order a new one, you need to order Ferrari Roma Spider or get a used Ferrari Roma on the open market. Start with the driving impression after second drive with Ferrari Roma. Ferrari Roma has the same engine or like a developed engine which was based on Ferrari. What's the name of that? Ferrari California T. So Ferrari California T is the last edition of Ferrari California that engine produced 560 PS, and right now in Ferrari Roma it has 3.9 liter displacement, and it produces 612 horsepower or 620 PS. And Roma has, maybe you guys also already know, has the same gearbox as SF90, so it carries the 8-speed DCT, which is lighter than the gearbox that we find in F8 Tributo or Ferrari 488. And first thing first, it saves some kilograms, and it should actually, in theory, shifts a little bit faster. Whereas I find like the DCT that we find in F8 Tributo already shifts pretty well. I mean, like, I think like Ferrari creates a really good double clutch transmission. If it's better or not than PDK from Porsche, I don't know, but both of them are actually magnificent. If I want to choose like one car in my garage that needs to have like the paddle shifter, I think it's either gonna be Ferrari or Porsche. But again, Ferrari Roma, this time we are driving it through the city, so literally like the environment where the car will find itself more than less, I guess, because Ferrari Roma is produced or is sold as a Ferrari GT car. I find the car is a little bit too sporty to be a GT car, but again, it has enough boot capacity, and also it has the middle front engine configuration. So as we all know, like Ferrari 812 Superfast and also like California or F12 Berlinetta, this car is sold to be a GT car, the car that can munch the miles and kilometers and go across the continent. So how did it drive in the city? I just need to say, in the normal speed in the city, so we are talking about 50 km per hour or around 32 miles per hour, the car just doesn't settle, and the transmission, so I put it in automatic in the city. It get a little bit confused on the lower speed, but once you go to the autobahn and go 120 km per hour or more, right? So that's actually what I'm telling them, like according to my experience, how the car drive, because people know what I've been driving, and yeah, that's actually a little bit like that, because a lot of journalists, they have been driving really nice cars and they can be very picky, and that's where it shines. But again, like there's like a very distinctive difference between driving it in auto mode and if you shift by yourself. And if you shift by yourself, for example, in comfort mode, it already produces like completely different sound. That's the first thing. And second thing is also it just shifts better if you tell the transmission where you want to be. And what I already also watched from the internet, from the YouTube, they said even if you put it in sport or race mode, the transmission doesn't change. So it doesn't really shift down by itself or shift up by itself or hold the gear. So if you own a Roma, first thing first, you wouldn't like it if you're stuck in traffic. And second thing, please do shift by yourself, because it just unlocks the whole potential of the car. That's what I find. And second thing, in a stop and go condition, this transmission, it doesn't creep forward. So, but again, this is a Ferrari, and I guess it's expected. But yeah, and also like the brake can be quite grabby in the stop and go condition, whereas if you're driving it like how you should, you know, then it can modulate the brake, and it has enough stopping power for the weight of Roma. So the weight of Roma is around 1.5 tons, a little bit more or less. And yeah, and what else? And also like a lot of reviewers say say something about the touch control on the steering wheel, it can get annoying. But one thing that we cannot forget is that we can set how many seconds like the whole options gonna be still shown, so it can turn off. So after a few seconds of inactivity, so you can set it like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or maybe also always on. But if you don't set it, then sometimes you're gonna hit something if you want to turn on the turning lights, for example. And well, I hit the voice command buttons when I wanted to turn left. But again, I didn't play with the settings and stuff because it was a really tight schedule. So it's around 1 hour 20 minutes drive, and we are going on the outskirts of Berlin. So yeah, I think like for a GT car, that's a thing that a potential buyer need to know, that actually you can play with the settings and make it your own and make it a better car, I guess. So, and what else? I think that's about it. The suspension is surprisingly good. So we drove on the like quite stony roads, like like these roads that that you find where people are living. So it's not a normal tarmac, but it's like with stones and pebbles and stuff, whatever you call it. And the suspension is actually pretty good. How I find it is a lot more comfortable than 911s, and a little bit more comfortable than Aston Martin Vantage. For a Ferrari, I think it's actually a very polished suspension. So it doesn't feel too soft if you push it hard, but it's also not too hard if you have like a back pain or something. And actually the suspension of 296 GTB is also almost as good as Roma suspension, if I'm not mistaken, because I drove the 296 GTB through the, I think, villages or small cities in Italy, and the roads in Italy were, sometimes it can be so bad, and 296 GTB just glides all over the whole, I don't know, it's not potholes, it's just not really even the streets sometimes. So yeah, like the latest products of Ferrari, like the suspension, I like it, so thumbs up for the guys who create the suspension. Yeah, how about the visibility? Visibility is good. The visibility to the back is not the best that you can get, but again, this is a sports car. But visibility to the front and to the right and left is good enough. The way I think it has better visibility than Vantage, like the new Vantage, marginally. It's marginally better. And by the way, the spoiler, the one that goes up at 100 km/h, it doesn't really look that good, but it gives you more downforce on that speed, on the higher speed. But when the spoiler is up, you cannot look to the back. It just like blocks like 1/3 of the visibility to the rear. Yeah, otherwise the sound is good enough. But again, like if you are purchasing Roma, you just need to understand this car will depreciate. And as we already seen, like the price development of Ferrari California and California T, I mean, this car would lose value. And that's actually also the reason why, as if you already have been following this channel for a while now, you would know that I was planning to get my dream car or grail car, whatever it is. But I haven't pulled the trigger because at the moment the price is just going crazy. And I think like start from this year, we've seen actually the price of 488 GTB and 488 Spider in general are hiking up, are creeping up slowly but surely. So yeah, and my thoughts on purchasing Roma. If you really want to get one that's slightly used. But if it needs to be new, I doubt that you would still get the price from last year. So at the moment, the Roma, like a new Ferrari Roma that you can still have from dealership, it will cost you around 260 until 280,000 euro in Germany. And the Spider, the launch price was around 300,000 euro. Whereas I was actually told like 2 months ago it's gonna be starting from 280,000 euro. But I guess it depends on your configuration and your, I think also your relationship to the seller. But again, for 300,000 euro in that price, you actually can get a used 812 Superfast with around 30,000 miles or around 40 to 50,000 kilometers, which is quite much for a Ferrari. But just think about it, 812 Superfast can be the last Ferrari that carries V12, not a naturally aspirated V12. Of course, it's also being put in Ferrari Puro Sangue, the latest SUV, but that one would cost you at least 450,000 euro here. That's what we already heard, and depends on the configuration, it can go up until 550,000 euro. So that's not a bargain, and it's an SUV, and there's not gonna be another SUV that carry V12, naturally aspirated V12. That's what I think, because looking at the current market, Bentley doesn't produce a W12 anymore. The new Aston Martin DB12 is now carrying V8, and yeah, so I think looking at the future, V12 is not gonna be put in a car anymore. And but I guess like Lamborghini is still gonna carry V12. I can be mistaken, but you can put in the comment below if you know more, because I'm not really a Lamborghini guy, so I'm not updated with the whole situation, yeah, with the brand. But yeah, so 300,000 euro for Ferrari Roma Spider. That is very close to the price of used F8 Tributo and the price of the used 812 Superfast. Of course, if you want to get an 812 Superfast with low kilometers, you need to pay a little bit more. We are talking about 350,000 euro, or maybe in that range between 330 until 350,000 euro. That's where it starts for 812 Superfast with low kilometers. And for F8 Tributo, right now the market, like the price of the market, start at 290,000 euro and it goes up until 400,000 euro. Depends on the specifications and how low kilometer that you want to have. But again, we cannot forget that F8 Tributo is actually really close to 488 Pista. Of course, it's not as crazy as Pista, but it's with design. So Ferrari doesn't want that F8 Tributo actually like this model like cannibalize the sale number of Pista, because Pista it's kind of like a special run Ferrari 488, so it's like the last editions of 488. And right now Pista, I think the cheapest one that I've seen in internet is around 420,000 euro here in Germany. And yeah, but also F8 Tributo has the mid-engine Ferrari sports car with 720 horsepower, and it has a sublime transmission as well, so 7-gear DCT, and it has over 700 horsepower. Of course, the sound is not as crazy as 458 or 488 or Pista, but again, it's just in different class altogether. So again, so that's where I'm at if I'm looking at the price of Roma and Roma Spider, and used 812 Superfast and F8 Tributo. There's not so much in between. And also like what I've been thinking is like Ferrari Roma Spider with soft top and Portofino M with hard top, I guess, or what I've heard like from the people that came on that night, a lot of people prefers hard top. So I'm actually asking myself, like, the Spider, Ferrari Roma Spider, is it gonna be a hit or not? But again, we are gonna talk more about that in the second part of this video, and that's gonna come like next week. So if you want to follow that this series, then you can just subscribe to this channel and click that bell button so you know when it's going to be released. And if you like this video, please drop a like, that helps. And yeah, and I guess that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in and that you watch until the end. See you on the next video. Until then, stay cool and stay safe. Bye bye.